Dr. Charles Towns Individual Achievement, sponsored by AT Lock.
Back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, we formed the Advanced Technology Development Center, what's commonly known as the ATDC. It was the first technology incubator associated with the University, Georgia Tech. I was fortunate enough to be part of that team that formed that organization. I got to know Dennis as a part of that. Dennis, as a graduate of Georgia Tech, had developed a company. He developed the Hayes Smart Modem, which became the basis for internet connection and all the other things that have come from that. Dennis was certainly a real pioneer.
The Hayes Modem is a device which allows our current informational devices, our phones, our computers, our tablets, to communicate with each other. And he's also the inventor of the sound that goes with those, that you hear that kind of sound in the background.
I've met Dennis officially in the fall of 2014. He called the Johnson College of Business looking to see if there was someone he could talk with involved in new businesses or startup ventures. At that time, I was the founding director of the Greenhouse Business Incubator, so I got the phone call, and once I realized it was Dennis Hayes, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the phone with Dennis Hayes, a tech rock star. So it took a little while to get used to that whole conversation, but by the end of the conversation, I had convinced him to come up to the greenhouse and to meet the other companies here.
I had the pleasure of meeting Dennis, my goodness, it may have been almost 30 years ago. I came to Atlanta from North Carolina and moved to town, was a young attorney, was looking for technology companies, and Dennis was really one of the key leaders in the community at that time. Even though the technology community was young, Dennis was a standout, and he was one of the standard bearers of the technology growth really outside of Silicon Valley. So I did more watching Dennis and working with him because he was so legendary and continued to maintain that sort of legendary appeal. But I learned a lot by watching him and seeing him grow his company from an early stage onward.
From my perspective, he was real helpful. He was very helpful to us. He had a lot going on here. He was building a new product, a new idea that he was developing, and had lots of demands on his time. But he spent a great deal of time with us, helping us to form the ATDC.
Dennis is a unique person. I think as entrepreneurs come, especially ones outside of Silicon Valley, where there are a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's probably easy to be in the entrepreneurial environment because you're right there in the middle of it. Dennis was here in Atlanta in the Southeast, and there were fewer entrepreneurs, quite frankly, fewer entrepreneurs and people that were willing to fail, and therefore fewer people willing to take risks.
Dennis has a very creative mind. He's always been outside of the box and has taken all of his engineering and imaginary abilities down to Georgia Tech, where he built his first company, and subsequent to that company, sold it, developed another company, sold that. Somewhere along the line decided he wanted to retire and came back to his hometown of Spartanburg and got involved with the Greenhouse Group, which is a business incubator.
From the get-go, I found that Dennis was very approachable. He's such a relaxed, calm person. He just sat down and talked to the people, the business owners here at the greenhouse the very first time he came in, and we probably had an hour and a half long conversation where he just asked them questions about their businesses. They asked him questions. He had some suggestions, but by the time that we were finished, it was like he was part of the gang.
We have helped Dennis continue his success even though he deals with a condition called retinitis pigmentosa and has need of visual assistance. So we came up with an idea of placing university-level students with Dennis's latest entrepreneurial venture called Hayes Security. And what we have done is to teach these students how to be personal assistants, how to be visual assistants, how to help Dennis continue to execute business through having them read emails, having them help him process contracts. I asked Dennis if he would be comfortable having young women provide him with visual assistance. And as a consequence, he turned around and said, "Well, Beth, I'm a father of 2 daughters. Of course I'm comfortable working with young women, so what's your issue?" And through that story, it kind of broke the ice. It made everybody laugh, and we were able to get beyond the sheer, "Oh my gosh, here's a successful CEO that we are dealing with," to recognizing him as a human being and someone who was quite compassionate and able to care and work mutually and not just from the traditional top-down hierarchy.
Well, I'd just like to congratulate you, Dennis. I'm really happy to see you getting the respect and the recognition that you deserved, and I'm really happy for you. We're all of us back here are very happy to see you getting the recognition that you do.
Dennis, thank you for your leadership. It's been outstanding. We're so proud of what you've done to help so many entrepreneurial companies and so many folks within this community, and really help to grow the technology community from the beginning all the way through to where we are today. Thanks and congratulations.
Dennis, I'm so excited that you're getting an award here in our upstate area. I know that you get lots of awards from other places, but this just tells me how integrated you're getting into our community. And I have to tell you, it's been very hard these past few weeks to keep this really quiet and to keep it a surprise while working all these things in the background. So congratulations to you, and it is my absolute honor to be able to speak on your behalf.